The Forgotten Asylum. Once a thriving institution dedicated to treating the mentally ill, the asylum now stood abandoned, its halls cloaked in a shroud of mystery and decay. Emma Turner, a passionate and ambitious journalist, couldn't resist the allure of uncovering the truth behind the institution's dark past. Armed with her camera, a notepad, and a brave heart, she ventured into the forsaken building, eager to bring its forgotten stories to light. As Emma stepped through the asylum's rusted iron gates, an eerie silence enveloped her. The asylum seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, as if someone finally had come to listen to its forgotten tales. With flashlight in tow, she began her exploration, her footsteps echoing through the empty halls like whispers of the past. As she delved deeper into the asylum's history, Emma discovered a horrifying truth. In the early 1900s, the asylum had been home to some of the most experimental and cruel psychiatric practices. Patients had suffered inhumanely, and countless spirits seemed to linger, their souls never finding peace. With every piece of evidence she gathered, Emma's resolve to uncover the truth grew stronger. The more she learned, the more she felt a connection to the souls trapped within the asylum's walls. Emma's empathy for the patients, who had been treated as less than human, spurred her on despite the chilling encounters she experienced. One night, while exploring the asylum's decrepit basement, Emma sensed a presence. Flickering lights and strange sounds surrounded her, making her heart race. It was as if the spirits were trying to communicate, desperate to share their stories. As she moved deeper into the darkness, the temperature dropped drastically, and the cold hand seemed to touch her shoulder. Despite her fear, Emma couldn't leave. She felt a responsibility to give these restless souls a voice. As Emma continued her investigation, she stumbled upon old medical records and diaries from staff members. Reading through them, she learned of a particular patient, a young woman named Emily, who had been subjected to torturous experiments. Emily had suffered immensely, and her spirit seemed to be one of the most restless within the asylum. Haunted by the tragedy of Emily's life, Emma was determined to find peace for her soul. She sought the help of a local historian, Mr. Alexander Crane, who had dedicated years to researching the asylum's history. Together, they began a series of rituals to communicate with the spirits trapped within the asylum's walls. As they conducted the rituals, the asylum's past came alive before their very eyes. The tormented spirits shared their pain, anger, and sorrow, hoping for redemption and release. Each night, Emma and Alexander listened to their stories, leaving no detail unrecorded. As the investigation progressed, the line between the living and the dead blurred. Emma found herself facing the consequences of meddling with the spirit world. Dark shadows lurked around every corner, and malevolent whispers seemed to follow her wherever she went. The asylum had awakened, and the spirits demanded justice for their suffering. Despite the mounting dangers, Emma refused to back down. She believed that unveiling the asylum's secrets was her responsibility. She was their voice, their connection to the world beyond. However, the closer she came to revealing the truth, the more the spirits resisted, growing increasingly restless and menacing. Until one fateful night, the spirits' anger reached its peak. The asylum seemed to come alive, its walls pulsating with malevolence. Emma found herself surrounded by the vengeful spirits, their tormented faces pleading for justice. But in the nick of time, Alexander intervened, using his extensive knowledge of the spirit world to protect Emma. He managed to perform a ritual that brought peace to Emily's soul. Breaking the cycle of unrest, the other spirits gradually calmed, their presence fading away as they found solace. With the spirits finally relented, the asylum returned to its lifeless state. Emma and Alexander knew that they had to share the stories they'd uncovered with the world, so the victims of the asylum's dark past would never be forgotten. Emma's story was published, bringing attention to the horrors that had occurred within the asylum's walls. The building was eventually renovated into a memorial to honor the victims, ensuring that their memory would never fade away. Emma's courage, empathy, and determination not only brought justice to the forgotten souls of the asylum, but also served as a reminder that some stories should never be left untold. The echoes of the forgotten would linger, but they would forever be heard. Months passed since Emma's harrowing encounter with the spirits of the asylum. Her story had garnered significant attention, not just for the chilling accounts of restless spirits, but also for the inhumane practices that had occurred within the institution's walls. The public demanded justice for the victims, and pressure mounted on the authorities to thoroughly investigate the asylum's dark history. As more details of the asylum's past were uncovered, shocking revelations came to light. There had been a long-standing cover-up by powerful figures who had been involved in the asylum's operations. Emma's determination to expose the truth had inadvertently shaken the foundations of an intricate web of deceit and corruption. As the investigations intensified, powerful entities sought to silence those who spoke out. Emma and Alexander faced threats, intimidation, and attempts to discredit their work, but they refused to back down, even when it seemed the world was against them. Their alliance grew stronger, and their friendship deepened as they faced the aftermath of their daring exploration together. With public interest peaked, support poured in from all corners. Advocacy groups, investigative journalists, and even influential figures joined the fight for justice. The abandoned asylum became a symbol of the collective quest for truth and redemption. Among those who rallied behind Emma and Alexander was an enigmatic woman named Dr. Evelyn Hartley, a renowned paranormal investigator with a keen interest in the supernatural. Driven by her own mysterious past and experiences with the spirit world, Evelyn had followed the media coverage of the asylum closely. She felt a deep resonance with Emma's story and the souls that had been trapped within those crumbling walls. Evelyn approached Emma and Alexander, offering her expertise and resources to help them dig deeper into the asylum's dark secrets. She brought with her a team of experienced researchers, historians, and psychic mediums, forming an alliance that was both formidable and unconventional. Together, they embarked on an exhaustive investigation, reaching out to former staff members and descendants of patients, piecing together the puzzle of the asylum's sinister history. The spirits seemed to guide them, revealing new clues and leading them to long-buried records. As the team dug deeper, they uncovered a secret underground network that had operated alongside the asylum, exploiting the vulnerable patients for sinister purposes. The revelations were nothing short of horrifying, detailing illegal medical experiments, unethical treatments, and clandestine meetings involving influential figures. The evidence they collected was enough to shake the corridors of power. The public's outrage grew, and the demand for justice reached a tipping point. The authorities could no longer ignore the cries for accountability. A high-profile investigation was launched, and those responsible for the atrocities were finally brought to trial. The court proceedings were a defining moment in history. The truth that Emma, Alexander, and Evelyn had tirelessly fought to expose became irrefutable. The guilty parties were sentenced, and the legacy of the asylum would forever be marred by the horrors it had concealed. Emma's life had changed profoundly. since she first stepped foot into the abandoned asylum. The experience had not only opened her eyes to the world of the paranormal, but had also ignited a passion for truth-seeking journalism. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to our channel.